They tell me I'm live. They tell me I am live. Here we are. Here we are. I'm hoping this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know if I am live in the chat. Again, I apologize for everything. At some point, it's just inexcusable, right? All right. I'm seeing some light. Sorry about this again, guys. Okay. Third link, 7 are here. Thank you, Hamilton. 6. All right, we're climbing. We're climbing. Sorry. Again. I'm hoping my audio is coming through. You know what it is? No sound. Hold on. Yes, everything is good. Nancy, are we good? Do you hear me? Because, okay, Nancy hears me. All right. Did I set up through this or did I? Oh, wait. How about now? There should be much more audio now. Test 1 2 1 2. I'm hoping you guys can hear me. Oh gosh. Okay. Loud and clear. Loud and clear is better. Okay, great. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna consider unsubscribing from that streaming software because you know what I'm doing right now? I decided to go on YouTube directly and stream there instead of through a streaming service. Usually the streaming service makes my life a lot easier, but by God, Hamilton, it's Friday the 13th. You're right. And you know what? I can't put comments up on the screen. So I'm gonna do what I can. And I'm already all frazzled and I'm hoping I can get it together for whatever time we have remaining. So let me put that setup together. At least I know I have signs of life on the other end. Apologies again. Antique X-ray, am I still muffled? I'm going to go ahead for it. We got 15 minutes left, right? I wanted to focus on something that I saw in the news, and I had a pretty strong opinion on last week or 2 weeks ago. I saw that in the Giuffre case, which surprisingly is still going on, and a lot like the Gabby Petito case. Remember that? I'm wondering what's so attractive about that case. It's also like the the submersible that went into the Titanic, is it the same sort of attraction, more like it's entertainment? I have a feeling, stories like this are not too unique. The fact that it's getting nationwide coverage already says something. Is it a slow news cycle? Because that it is not. It is not a slow news cycle. Why is this the story getting all the press? I'll leave that up to you guys, and you let me know in the comment section. Fabrizio, good morning. I responded to your op-ed a little late, I admit, but I hope you enjoyed my comments. Fabrizio will share if he wants to share any more than that. But in that Giuffre case, I was upset. I was upset to learn that there's at least allegations that the sheriff is not sharing evidence with the FBI. If the sheriff is not sharing evidence with the FBI, I'm inclined to believe it's for political reasons. Either they don't want the FBI to get the credit for helping, or they don't trust the FBI. I believe the sheriff, if true, is wrong for doing that. There's nothing wrong with collaboration and tapping into more resources than you have yourself. You play for the same team. Are we already politicizing this before anything really happened in the case? That's I think the sad state of government and politics and really law enforcement that we live in. Yeah, Nancy, this is Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th makes your host of this program completely crazy and has his whole setup die on him. Lord, oh Lord. And guess what? I did some read into the SAVE Act. It's unfortunate that it's not going to go anywhere. Thank you, filibuster. I am a huge proponent of the filibuster. I read a book by Jeff Flake. It was one of the first books I read after COVID or something like that, or before COVID. And the filibuster rule, in his words, are not meant to make governing easy. It's meant to be difficult. So getting rid of the filibuster rule and just submitting to pure majoritarian rule, it's not how the Senate should work, in my opinion. But what I will say, voter ID is a hugely, hugely popular idea. There is no reason why you need to show ID to get on a flight, go to a baseball game, or pick up a package, but not to vote. The SAVE Act will terribly impede voting, says Macaroni. I heard a comment on Smerconish saying that it's just a version of the poll tax. You have to buy a passport, buy an ID, get the right ID to go and vote. I'm totally okay with tax-funded IDs where you can go to your Department of Motor Vehicles and get a free ID. It's not a... New York City actually has that. It's not a license. It's just a simple photo ID. I think right now the DMV charges like $10 or something like that. I'm totally okay with that being tax-funded and giving more tax revenues to that in exchange for voter ID laws. I think it's totally okay. And upon voter registration, you go and get that ID. I think that's how you basically finalize your registration on the voter rolls. I'm also very in favor of digital voting. So I know us as a country, thank you, President Trump, for instilling so much doubt and insecurity as far as our voting integrity. And we have a long way to go to restore that voting integrity. But I think if introduced slowly, properly, and with confidence, especially with the right leadership at the top, we can trend in that direction of voting electronically. And what else did we have? Oh, and I am getting over this cold, so there's a little bit of a bright light to this rough start of the morning. And I did have one more headline that I wanted to show you. So look at this. I'm going to hope that my phone makes it to the... Okay, I'm going to poll you guys. Ready? Piers Morgan, I like, as you know, I watch a show, has Bassem Youssef, who's a Egyptian comedian, very, I guess, much on the liberal side, or I would say on the left side of political ideology, says that Epstein was a Mossad operative. Has the Epstein case devolved into the state of, you think anything is plausible? Do you think there's an end in sight? Do you think that he could have been a Russian operative? I mean, Bassem Youssef even floated the idea that Monica Lewinsky and that scandal was set up by the Mossad. I mean, these are outlandish ideas. Is it possible? Anything is possible. But at what point does it just become you're overdoing it with no credibility? He went back and forth with Dershowitz, and I'll send out the video, but my God, Dershowitz just came back with him with one point. Dershowitz was Epstein's lawyer. He said, I asked Epstein if there was anything I can tell the government to lessen the sentence on you. And Dershowitz claims he pressed Epstein on it. And if Epstein were an operative, he would have told Dershowitz. Dershowitz could have used that to lessen his sentence. So back and forth, back and forth. That was what happened during the show. I will link to the full version of it. Honestly, you know my position. I have no idea why the Epstein files really consume as much as they do. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So I wanted to focus on just one more thing, and then I'm going to try to take comments for however I can. And let's see here. Okay. We all knew this was coming, right? The Department of Homeland Security is going to be shut down. Now, who's going to win the press? Are the Republicans going to say that the Democrats shut down the Department of Homeland Security because they want open borders? Or are the Democrats going to say the Republicans shut down the Department of Homeland Security because they have secret police blowing 10 shots through a nurse's skull or something like that? The correct answer is both. And it's going to be an interesting round 2 to see how a departmental shutdown will work. It'll be interesting to see how much responsibility the secretary herself takes. And it'll also be interesting that the fact that the TSA will be shut down and not paid, which is usually the biggest, I would say, pain point of a government shutdown, will be in effect for this department shutdown. I stand interested in seeing whether or how they'll try to tie in the SAVE Act into a DHS funding bill. Frankly, I'm a little concerned with how the SAVE Act can enforce voter ID laws for federal elections. Meanwhile, constitutionally, states have the authority to run their own elections. So they usually run concurrently, but how does that constitutional game play out? But hey, we're here for nuance, right? And meeting in the middle. I think they should combine the SAVE Act with DHS funding. I think it will. How do we say? It'll provide a larger playing field for compromise, nuance, and where the general populace really is. Most Americans want voter ID. I mean, just go back to Joe Manchin's, I think it was HR 1 compromise. That was so common sense. So common sense. And there's no reason why that shouldn't have passed, besides for just political polarization and spite, really spite of the other side. Yeah, that's where we're at. Okay. Let's engage with some comments. And again, apologies. I'm going to figure this out. Okay, I'm gonna have to read out the comments since my software is out. Okay, cool. Let me scroll up. We're all back, loud and clear. Thank everybody for letting me know my audio check. Macaroni 11, the SAVE Act will terribly impede voting. I mean, why? Because people have to go get an ID? If people ask for an ID nowadays, generally, most people have it. And those who don't should be getting one. It's a necessary step to ensure voter integrity. Surely that counts for something. Let's go on. Hamilton is saying that another commenter, government provides a national ID at the taxpayer expense. That would at least take 6 months to issue to all current eligible voters, then through the DMV and other sources. Sure. That's, I mean, I'm in favor of that logistical implementation. I'm totally okay with that. I would just say there's no reason why the government should provide a national ID to everyone. I think that the real ID standards that they put in place is effectively the same thing. Or, I mean, perhaps, I guess it'll be putting a picture on your social security card. That could be another way to do it. Antique X-ray, along with a driver's license, pilot license, passport. I hope I'm good. Yeah, right. My wallet seems to be getting fatter and fatter. As an overseas voter, I like the idea of digital voting. Richard in Japan. I wonder, do you go to the embassy? And let's say you're not in Tokyo. Can you mail it in? I guess you could. There is an international way to mail in votes. That's interesting. But then you have to make up your decision like a month before the election, which is also the calculation. Hamilton, Piers Morgan has offered other theories that fall into the fantastical or conspiratorial buckets. He has, and there's no doubt that in the end of the day, he's running a show. I think he's a lot less interested in exploring nuance and ideas like most of us are, but he runs a very good and entertaining show, and I'll leave it at that. The enhanced Antique X-ray got the enhanced as well. Planning a trip through Canada, I was told they no longer accept a driver's license. We need a passport. Yeah, I upgraded to the enhanced instead of the real, just because I wanted, I don't know, I guess the most coverage I could get. And the requirement of producing physical citizenship document when registering and voting. Am I misunderstanding this? No, so if you have a real or an enhanced ID, you're already a citizen. So as long as your ID has that either American flag or a star on it, the state government already approved you as a citizen and verified. Are people going to have to re-register, or will existing be grandfathered? I would say everybody will remain registered, but to actually cast your ballot, you have to present the ID. If you're subscribed to the notification, I copy. Oh yeah, I apologize for that, Sean. Yeah, I emailed it out to everybody. I'm sorry for the snafu again. Vote by fax? No, that's too old. We can't vote by fax. Ask Desert about the international voting problems. She's experienced all of them. I'm sure. Let's end off on this one. Macaroni. If you have to present a physical ID, then you must be present to vote. Thus, no mail-in voting. No, I'm okay with. I mean, the way it works in New York, at least, to request a mail-in ballot, you either need your driver's license number, or the last 4 of your social to order. No, I'm sorry, that's to register. So I'm okay with having some sort of verification to order the mail-in ballot. Either of those are sufficient for me, either the last 4 of the social or a driver's license number, something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get to the bottom of this issue. A potential idea, I think I'm going to try and do a test run. I'll try and do a test run sometime next week or over the weekend so that I am prepared for the 8 a.m. stream. Again, apologies, and thank you for sticking with me and working through this. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Thanks so much. And wishing everybody a delightful weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, and stay healthy. Bye, guys.